Welcome to Staging the Third Act. I'm your host, Janine Escalier-Cato. And I'm really, I don't know if I could say excited, but this is a very special show for me today. Extremely special. As you know, this show is about, by, and for baby boomers who are living their legacies through the universe because we don't have progeny to send it on to. And I started this show because of the loss of a dear friend, and I was in a very dark place, and I needed to put some kind of her positive energy into something creative. So I started this show in her honor, and I'm so thrilled because today I have her very close dear friend with me to help honor her. And so without further ado, before I introduce my special guest, I want to say a little bit about Anita Moya Del Pino, who inspired me in all things. And I'm doing this show because we've all lost someone dear to us. And I want to connect with all of you who've had such a loss that it's changed your life. And I want to give all of us the grace to be able to take that grief and do something positive with it and to continue the legacy of that person. So, before I introduce Grid, my special guest, I want to read something about Anita to just give you a flavor of who she was, because this show is dedicated to her. And this is how I saw her. And you can see her beautiful face, her beautiful essence, and this is who she was. And I'm going to read something very quick, and then I'm going to give the show over to Grid, because we are going to give you our perspectives of what her love meant to us. So let me just give you, I can't even put into words without reading what I wrote about her. When I entered her classroom for the first time that summer of 2005, I was knocked over by a blast of magic dust. I gazed upon a natural, timeless beauty who appeared to have lived her life traveling the world on a mission to unlock its secrets. She presented a magnificent vision in a floor-length purple skirt, gauzy white blouse, and a yellow daisy tucked into a long brown side braid. Her room smelled of the earth, a mixture of garden snakes and furry rodents tamed by the scent of exotic incense. A timid Sheltie licked my hand. I had entered her world. She unfolded her long, athletic frame from the wooden chair behind her metal desk and glided over to me with a warm, outstretched hand. Her fifth grade classroom for gifted learners was like being in a National Geographic science camp, filled with color, movement, discovery, challenge, and fun. I soon learned that her artistic genes sifted down from a famous Spanish muralist. Her grandfather was Jose Moya Del Pino, a famous Spanish muralist who painted many murals in San Francisco. I wanted to paint her. She said, "I'm Anita. How kind of you to welcome me. Tell me about yourself." When Anita looked at me, her piercing blue eyes bore into my soul, rendering me helpless against any worries or outside distractions. Her smile was like catching fireflies in a jar. Its light lingered. I was the most important person to her in that moment. Her students eventually became the most loved little humans in her life. That's what Anita meant to me. Okay, welcome, Grid. I'm so thrilled you're here with me today. I think that we both owe Anita an honor this time because she changed my life, and I'd like to know how she changed yours.
I developed a different love for life. I think that would be the biggest change. I'd come out of a dark period myself, and with her in my life, it helped get through the dark.
Wow. Yeah. Describe how she did that.
As you said, she had the best smile I've ever seen.
Oh, unbelievable. I want to show the viewers that smile. I mean, you can see it here, absolutely. But I took a picture off the internet that was at her celebration of life. And I don't know if you can see this, but this smile just always beaming. So, again, her smile, what else?
Personality.
Yeah.
She always had a project she was trying to do. She's always upbeat.
Right.
And as you said, when you were talking to her, you were the most important person in her life.
Absolutely.
So all of that lends to changing how a person views himself.
Right. Right.
So a lot of it was how she changed and reacted to me and how that changed, and I had to look at things differently.
Ah, in what way?
Instead of going the hard road, go the soft road. That was a lot of it. We interacted a lot as far as she's a very intelligent woman,
Very.
and she found that I was one of the few people that could keep up with her.
That's funny.
Yeah. So we would play verbal games, mind games, and it was just a tease. It was just fun. So we engaged in that manner also.
Uh-huh.
And I had the same issues. I didn't have a lot of people that could keep up with me.
Right.
So to have somebody that could keep up with you mentally
Yes.
challenges you.
Oh, God, yes.
So I got to challenge her, and she got to challenge me. And that makes for a different relationship,
Absolutely.
as opposed to just kind of plodding through.
Uh-huh.
You're always looking forward to what they have this time.
Yeah. Yeah, she challenged me. I taught with her from 2005 to 2000 when I retired in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And I would call her all the time and see how things were going when I retired. And I always thought, and this is something we all do with people we love. I always thought when she retired, we'd have so much time. And I did. I just thought, oh, I'll have so much time with Anita to do this, and this. And, you know, I don't know why we do that, but I did.
We're programmed to do that.
Yeah.
That's just how we're programmed from
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Do.
Yeah.
Make a life.
Yeah.
What
And
about
on
the
that,
good stuff?
and on that campus, she was the only one that challenged me and made me feel like I belonged to something greater. She was the only one on that campus that made me feel like I belonged to something greater.
Yes. I think she felt she belonged to something greater also.
Yeah, yeah. She was like a magnet, and she was larger than life. And unfortunately, rare people, and I think because you're so unique, and I'm unique, I'm not, I am not a cookie cutter of someone my age. I'll be turning 70 in June. And I've never followed the beat of everyone else. I've never in my life. And people have always kind of looked askance at me like, what is she? Who's she? What's she all about? Why is she so outgoing and confident and different? And I know you've certainly faced that.
Yes.
And I know Anita was, so out of the box. And when you're like that and you're around people that kind of follow the trends or follow what they should think they should follow, she was often a target of ridicule.
That's because she scared everybody.
She was such a threat because she was genuinely who she was, without regard, without just I am who I am.
Yes.
And this is who I am.
And I'm not going to worry about what you think about
Exactly. And people were so threatened by that. And she was ridiculed by so many people on campus. And I used to say, Nita, why are you taking this? Why? She said, Nita, it doesn't matter. I'm here for the kids. And boy, did those kids love her. And boy, did the parents of those kids love her.
Yes.
And what I've taken from her, what she has taught me is it's just okay to be who you are. And it's okay to stand up and face the ridicule. Because why would you want to compromise who you are?
Well, that's one of the problems. She understood that, is once you start taking that to heart,
Yeah.
it changes who you are.
Right.
And she understood that.
She did. She definitely did. She knew, that people thought she was weird and they say awful things behind her back, but then when they needed her help with computers, they didn't hesitate.
Nope.
Anita, can you help me? And she put on that beautiful smile. Of course I'll help you. Of course I'll help you. And I'd say, why are you helping these people who are so out? And she'd say, Janine, it's my job. And I just like, wow, she's amazing.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
She didn't compromise.
Yeah. No. No. She taught me so much about, it's funny, I hate to fly. I absolutely hate to fly. And when I get on the plane, I feel, I conjure her and a few other people I've lost around the same time, and I conjure them holding me, and I conjure them with me, and I say, I feel you, I'll be okay, I'll be okay, I'll be okay. And it works. It works.
Get your mind somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. And with the people that I know have my back.
Yes.
And I was thrilled at her celebration of life. I was thrilled to meet you and all the people who loved her so much out of that environment of education where she was boxed in.
Yes.
I was in her mountain life, and it just gave me so much. And when I met you, I instantly felt why she loved you. It's like, oh, I get it. I get it. And her friends and her family, and being in that open mountain air patio, I just went, I get it. She had a wonderful life outside of school.
She did, and the people up there didn't judge her the same way.
No, not at all.
They didn't talk behind her back.
No.
When she showed up, everybody talked with her, talked to her.
Yes, and told me how much they loved her and her smile and her presence and all the things that we saw in her.
Yes.
Everybody up there was like, oh, she's amazing. And I was like, thank God.
Yes.
Thank God.
And we'd have debates.
Yeah.
Again, what an argument.
Yeah.
It was just a debate.
Right.
Nobody took it personal or serious or just
right.
having fun.
Well, she used to, nobody's perfect. But at school, she would always come late. We had duty together.
Right.
And she had to stop and get her coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And she'd always come late. And there was a couple hundred kids on that field, and she'd always come late, coming in with her coffee. And it got to the point I had to get the balls out by myself. I had to watch all these kids, and I had to pee. And she'd get there, it was 20 minutes. And she'd get there like halfway through. And I just look and I go, okay, Anita, you're taking over and I'm going to the bathroom. And you're putting the balls away. And she'd go, I know, I'm late, I'm sorry, I know. But we could do that, and we could snip and snipe at each other, but we loved each other.
It wasn't personal.
It wasn't personal, ever. And she's like, I know, Janine, I know. And I go, okay, I love you. I love you, Anita, but I got to pee. But yeah, and then we worked on her talent show and we would judge together. And I would say judgment, and then she would copy everything that I said. And I go, Anita, I just said that. She goes, I know, Janine, but I felt the same way. But she was, oh my God, she did everything that I did. She was always supporting me and volunteering with me. And of course, I went to her for everything. Anita, help me, Anita, help me, Anita, help me. I need your advice, Anita, I need your, oh, it's okay, I'll be there. So it was just such a give and take. And, I'd run over to her room all the time and see what she was doing. And, when I retired, she just cried and hugged me. She goes, what am I going to do without you? And I said, you're strong, you're going to be great.
Yes.
But, yeah, it's just hard to find people so rare. It's just hard to find those rare individuals. And yeah, it was really, I've had depression moments in my life, and I'm not a depressed person at all, but I fell deep with this one.
Oh yeah.
I fell deep, and I was going to a therapist who suggested I do something because she said, you're in crisis grief. You're in a crisis grief. And you need to find something positive out of this. And I found this show. And I'm meeting people like you and other people that have had a lot of loss and have had a lot of loss. And they're helping me find ways to deal positively with it.
Yes.
And I hope you are finding positive things.
One of the things I drive by her house almost every day.
Wow.
Where she used to live. And I honk every time.
Oh.
Just in remembrance.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very good way to deal with grief, is don't forget.
Yes.
reach in and find the happy moments.
Yes. Yes.
Cry when you need to.
Right.
Don't try to stuff it away.
No.
Don't try to get rid of it.
No.
Embrace it.
Yeah.
Let it pass.
Yeah.
Do it every time.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't know if you were aware or the school was aware, but she lived off grid for like 30 years.
Oh yeah. I knew that.
I don't think a lot of the other teachers
No.
knew any part of that.
No.
So life was a little more difficult outside of school for her.
Yeah.
She'd have to get up, fire up the generator, make sure the well had water in the tank,
Yeah.
go take a shower, get everything cleaned up,
Yeah.
go turn everything back off,
Wow.
and then drive to school.
Wow.
Come home when it's dark, there's no lights on. And go figure out how to get everything going again.
Wow.
And she did that every day.
Wow. Well, I knew she was a mountain woman,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew she lived, hard,
Yeah.
but I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So when there's snow on the ground, she has to trudge through the snow to go get the generator fired up.
I lived right by her for many years before I knew her, and I would stay down in the valley with people when it was snowing
Yeah.
because power outages, and I couldn't get my car out. And I thought, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stay with people through the snow because I wouldn't even do what she was doing.
She didn't have to worry about a power outage.
I know. Well, I always knew she was an amazingly strong individual. I mean, that I knew.
And she did this mostly by herself.
Yeah.
When I met her, she found out I could do stuff. I have some skills.
Yeah.
So I used to go by her place every Sunday and work for her every Sunday
Oh.
and do different projects and just kind of help her out because she didn't have the time for it.
No, she didn't. And she stayed way too long at school.
Yeah.
I'd say, Anita, it's going to be dark when you get home. You need to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I've got this to do. I got to finish this. I've got to do that. It's like, oh.
But
Because
she'd still do it.
I knew how far she had to drive, and I knew that she was living, I knew that her lifestyle was like a pioneer woman. I knew she lived like a pioneer woman.
Yes.
Yeah,
very much so.
I knew that.
But she always showed up to school
Oh, always.
dressed
Always.
to the nines.
Always. Always.
Yep. Even after all
Raring
that.
to go. Raring to go. Never missed. Never missed.
Yeah. So, she gets up in the morning, trudges through the snow, gets everything lit, dressed, pressed, walks into school, and lights the place up with a smile.
Yeah. Even in the face of negativity,
Yep.
she barreled through with a smile. And it
Yes.
killed me. It killed me. It's like, the name of the story that I read this from, I titled it, A Rare Monarch. A Rare Monarch. Well, let me just say it because I don't want to say it wrong. Wrong page. A rare monarch of the mountain pines. That's what she was to me.
She was.
Just a rare butterfly in the mountains because, yeah, I mean, she did things I can't even conceive of doing, and I'm a strong person. Just her interests and her hobbies and the things that she did were just mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. And I felt so honored that she picked me to be a friend. It's like she picked me. And these people that knock her down don't even understand what a gem she is. I mean, if you chose to get to know her, how lucky would you be?
You are correct. And the people that chose to knock her down were people that just couldn't get past their fear.
No.
And she intimidated almost everybody
Yeah.
just by her presence and the way that she was.
And also, people that don't have boundaries of themselves in terms of their joyfulness. She had no boundaries of her joy.
None.
And that does threaten people. She was so, let me envelop you. Hi, I'm Anita. Let me envelop you. Oh, she's weird. No, she's not. She's rare. How many people can do that? And you knew it was genuine. You could feel the
Yes.
And that's what she did the first day I met her. She just came over and just enveloped me and said, "You are so kind. You're one of the first people who welcomed me. Thank you so much." And I felt it. It was just this wonderful feeling of, warmth. And people are afraid of that. They are. They're afraid of that. And for me, it was like a gift. Like, oh, how wonderful. Somebody who's so open with their joy. And God, the world needs that. The world needs that. So what I've learned from her and what I want to take from her is I don't want to be jaded. I don't want to keep losing people. I don't want to be that sad woman who lives alone and without her loved ones and grow old and sad. I want to continue to be joyful.
Yes, and part of that is when you lose somebody, you find somebody else.
Yeah.
You can't just keep losing people
and
not replacing them with somebody else.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what's going to keep you connected to who you are.
Yeah.
And the people you find need to be the same people you lost.
Yes.
Or at least a lot like them.
Yeah, I agree. Because my family members and, everything's getting smaller. And it scares me. It really does. I never expected to lose her at 55. I mean, crazy.
Yes.
And it wasn't COVID. It had nothing to do with COVID because it happened during COVID. And I lost another friend during COVID who I never expected to lose from cancer. And it's like, oh no, these are the people that I selfishly, I'm going to say this, selfishly, oh, they'll be there when my mom dies. I'll have them when my mom dies. Stupid, stupid, stupid. But I did that.
Right.
And these were two women, Anita and Bernadette, where I would say, I have them when my mom dies. They're gone. They're gone. And, so, like you said, I can't just wither up in a corner.
No.
I have to keep moving on.
And part of that is being a social person.
Yeah.
You have to get out there in society.
Yeah.
You have to meet new people. And the only way you can do that is to be social.
Yeah.
And whatever that works, how that works for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need to be out there with people.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
how you meet people.
That's right.
Not sitting at home,
Right.
watching television,
Yeah.
trying to lick your wounds.
Right.
That's not how it happens.
No, it doesn't. I know that.
And it's so hard after you lose somebody to go be social again.
Yeah.
Especially like up in that community where everybody knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you walk into a place where everybody knows that you've lost somebody
Yeah.
and nobody knows how to talk to you.
Really? Yeah, but that would be hard. I mean, they don't know how to approach you.
Right. So I have to be the breaker of the ice and become social again.
Yeah.
I can't wait for them to come and
Yeah.
take care of me.
Right. Right. That's very sensitive of you to think about the other person when you're the one hurting, but you're thinking about that. See, that's something Anita would do. She would be thinking about the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by doing that, you also help yourself
Yeah.
because it gets you back into where you were.
Yeah. I like that. I had another guest who lost her husband years and years ago. And I just keep saying, and he was her everything. She's never remarried. She's just fine being alone, but she's very social.
Right.
And she's in a lot of things in the community of Auburn. And she's a joyful human being. And I just think, okay, yeah, you got to be like that. You got to be like that.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you found somebody, a companion, that's helping you keep doing what you do.
Yeah, we do a lot of things. I'm fairly busy myself, and she always wants to come along. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See what's going on.
And she knew Anita, right?
Yes.
That's probably good for both of you.
Yes. She lost her friend a few months before I lost Anita.
Oh my gosh. Well, that was meant to be.
Yeah.
That was meant to be. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And she approached me and had absolutely no idea what to say, other than she understood how I felt.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I remember approaching you at the Celebration of Life, and I just came up and gave you a big hug. I didn't even know you, and I just came up and gave you a big hug.
Yes.
because I just did, that's what I felt like doing. I needed to do that.
Yes.
And again, that was Anita's influence. And we have a few minutes left, but I wanted to tell you something Anita did. I know she did it. I'm a teacher coach.
Yes.
Because I was a teacher for 36 years and I coach new teachers. And I get on the phone to talk to my new teacher, and she goes, "Oh, you taught at First Street School." She said, "Well, I subbed for a teacher there." And she said, "Did you know Anita Moya?" And I said, I just started crying because I knew that she stepped in for Anita when Anita passed. And I said, I just started crying. And she said, "Oh, you did know her." I said, "Very well." So when I met her, I'm not kidding you, Grid, she looks exactly like a young Anita. And she has Anita's love and spirit and tenacity and confidence and her artistic, Anita was very artistic.
Yes.
She embodied Anita, this tall, she's very tall like Anita, she's very and when I saw her, I cried more. And I looked up and I said, "Thank you, Anita, thank you." And then she told me, she said, when I got to that school and I saw that there was no one to counsel her students that were grieving so hard for her, I went to the district office. And this is a brand new teacher. She said, I went to the district office and said, "You need to get a counselor into this classroom now. These kids are grieving." And when I found out, I said, "You have given me the closure I need to know that Anita's kids were taken care of the rest of that year." She said, "Oh, I got a counselor in there. I didn't even press academics because these kids were the gate kids.
Right.
They could do anything on their own." And she said, "I made sure those kids had counseling for their beloved teacher." And I've been with her 2 years through her program, and she's an incredible person. And I knew that Anita sent me to her. I just knew it. I mean, what are the odds of hundreds of teachers that needed coaches that I would get her?
Right.
And I just said, "Thank you, Anita. Thank you so much." So yeah, she's still doing her stuff. She's still in our lives. She's still doing her stuff.
Yes.
And Grid, thank you for bringing this for me today. It means everything. You took this picture of her when you were building her.
It is the roof to her pump house.
Anyway, just so viewers can see, this is her essence, and Grid took that picture of her. So we have 2 minutes left. If you'd like to give some parting to the viewers, anything you want to tell the viewers before we go?
It's unfortunate that many of you never met Anita, because she was so given. She could have made all of you and given everything that she had to every one of you. That's just the way she was. She didn't have a finite amount. She had it all.
Yeah.
And she'd give each and every one of you all of who she was, every time.
Nice.
I have a set of wind chimes from her house.
Oh.
Beautiful, beautiful sounding. And they ring at just the slightest breath.
Oh.
And I always think of that as her talking to me.
My mom gave me a set of chimes when she goes, that she said, "I'll be talking to you." So she is talking to you.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm going to have you back. I'm going to have Grid back on another special show with a really interesting topic that you all have to come back for. So you'll be back, right?
I will be back.
Yes, because there's another part of him you have to know. It's very interesting. And so thank you so much for being here today. I feel like she deserved it, we deserved it, and the viewers deserved it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and I hope that we remain in each other's lives for a long time.
We'll find each other.
We will. Okay. Mwah, love you.
Love you too. And thank you all.